It is Saturday, October 17th, and we are at the Steward of Prosperity Chowdahfest. And the candidates have, or potential candidates, have spoken their pieces. People are leaving, but I just happened to run into James Pindell of NHPoliticalReport.com. And how are you, James?
Good.
Good. Now, what are you doing here today?
Well, I want to kind of gauge the temperature of not only where some of these candidates are coming from. Today was, I think, the first time Jim Bender had really given public comments, one of the reasons I was here. But also to kind of get a sense from conservative activists, what's kind of motivating them. You know, I look for these early events, just a lot of body language. Not so much what the candidates are saying, but a lot of the body language from the crowd. Are they reacting? Are they listening? Are they paying attention? Are they talking amongst themselves? What lines seem to be getting a lot of applause? So I spent most of my time out here. While most reporters write down stuff, today was really, environmental. I was kind of just checking out the environment of what the activists are looking for.
Okay, and what is your sense of the crowd today?
Well, this is a really interesting event. We have a former guy who's looking at exploring the U.S. Senate, having people running for the U.S. Senate now at his event. I think what we find is that this is, particularly in contrast to some of the Democratic events lately. The previous night, Portsmouth Democrats met for their annual dinner. I think you really see a sense of enthusiasm with the Republican base that really hasn't been there in a long time. And frankly, is not there now with Democrats. It's almost a flip of where we were, say, in 2007, when Democrats had a lot of that activism and Republicans really didn't. So we've really seen that change. Of course, change of administrations will do that.
Okay. And what do you think the crowd's response was to the different speakers? If you could speak to each particular one, what were the strengths and weaknesses of each, do you think? With respect to the crowd reactions.
Yeah, I think we've seen, honestly, in terms of the Senate candidates, I think we've seen kind of a general, almost kind of the same reaction, in my opinion. I think you saw people engaged listening to Sean Mahoney. He's a local guy here. He's from Portsmouth. Over Lamontagne does give a very good speech. He is pretty passionate about what he has to say. He gets a lot of more applause lines. Kelly Ayotte, she's just how she is. She's very soft-spoken, so she's trying to make larger points. I don't think you saw the crowd exactly roaring for her, but they were very much paying attention to her. But a lot of the focus for some of us was Jim Bender. He gave a great speech, particularly for a first-time candidate. I think people found him as being genuine, and I think for the most part, you have a guy who hasn't been in politics ever. The first question is how people are going to react to him. Are they going to treat him as a sort of a fringe candidate, or they can treat him as a real deal? And I think people were pretty open-minded about it.
Okay. Now, a while ago I had emailed you about your list of conservative activists because you had made the statement on Close-Up that right now the race is to gather as many conservative activists to each campaign as possible, and then you subsequently put up a little graph or spreadsheet of about 72 different activists and separated them sort of between Over Lamontagne and Kelly Ayotte. Are you going to be coming out, and for the record, you did put the GraniteGrok guys up there, which I was very surprised to see. Okay. So the question is, are you going to expand that now for these other two potential candidates, and are you going to fill that in, and are you going to do that anytime soon as an update?
Well, first of all, I did add Sean Mahoney to the list, and then Bender, I believe, just filed FEC papers, so he will be added to the list. And if Benny makes more moves, I understand he's meeting with more people, he'll be added to the list, of course. There's no reason why I wouldn't. Okay,
very good. And one last question. When are we going to have you up in the studio for our Meet the Blue Press radio show?
Soon, hopefully before the snow comes.
Okay, well, drop an email to Doug because he does the scheduling.
Great.
But I had to bring that up because you were a good guest by phone, but we'd rather have you in studio.
Of course, I'll be honored.
After all, it is a show by bloggers about what's going on in the political blogosphere.
Of course.
James, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.